Niccolo Machiavelli once observed, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." In a world driven by perception and power, emotions are a double-edged sword. They can grant you influence or make you a victim. Most people are emotionally predictable, easily provoked, manipulated, broken. But you must become emotionally dangerous. That doesn't mean cold or heartless. It means controlled, strategic, calculated. Emotionally dangerous people don't beg for validation. They don't crumble under pressure. They wield silence like a sword, indifference like armor, and patience like poison. This video is not about becoming numb. It's about becoming unbreakable. Here are 8 Machiavellian principles to make you emotionally dangerous and untouchable. 1. Master the art of emotional distance. The first rule is simple but rare. You must learn to feel without reacting. Emotional distance is the foundation of emotional power. Most people live in constant reactivity, enslaved by insults, praise, fear, and love. They respond before thinking. They explode, plead, cry, and over-explain, and in doing so, they expose every crack in their psyche. Emotional distance is not apathy, it's clarity. It is the ability to observe your emotions without letting them command you. To know when you're angry, but not act on it. To detect manipulation, but never flinch. Machiavelli would say, "He who controls his passions controls others." When you master emotional distance, people lose their power over you. And what they can't control, they fear or respect. Start practicing it in small moments. When someone insults you, don't defend. When someone ghosts you, don't chase. When someone betrays you, don't explode. You will discover that silence is more terrifying than rage, and indifference is more humiliating than revenge. Turn vulnerability into strategy. The modern world preaches vulnerability as a virtue, but Machiavelli would warn you, never give away what others can use to destroy you. That doesn't mean you shouldn't feel. It means you must decide when and where your weakness becomes power. Emotionally dangerous people reveal themselves on their terms. They do not bleed in front of enemies. They do not cry to be understood. They use their pain like a sculptor uses a chisel, carefully, deliberately. If you must share your wounds, share them only when they are scars, hardened, processed, strategic. Every time you overshare to be comforted, you hand someone a weapon. But when you keep your cards close, the world never knows your next move. Control your story, or someone else will write it for you. Vulnerability, when wielded with discipline, can make you magnetic. But vulnerability, when dumped carelessly, makes you prey. Choose wisely. 3. Learn to be unavailable. Nothing is more emotionally dangerous than a person who is not always available. Emotionally dangerous people do not respond to every message. They don't attend every argument. They don't explain why they need space. Why? Because availability breeds contempt. The more access people have to you, the less they value you. Machiavelli knew this truth well. Familiarity breeds contempt, and distance breeds respect. You must cultivate mystery. Detach from the impulse to always be there, always reply, always explain. Be a shadow, not a spotlight. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them question your silence. It is in your absence that your presence gains weight. You don't owe the world your constant attention. In fact, the more you would draw, the more they chase. The emotionally dangerous understand this. They make people work for their attention. And in doing so, they control the emotional dynamic without ever raising their voice. 4. Punish with absence, reward with scarcity. The weak seek closure. The strong give silence. The emotionally dangerous don't scream or beg or write long letters. They disappear. Not as a game, but as a statement. Your greatest punishment is absence. Your most powerful weapon is walking away and never looking back. This isn't about ego. It's about emotional dominance. When someone disrespects you, do not explain why it hurt. Leave. When someone plays with your time, don't complain. Vanish. People only respect what they fear losing. If you always stay, always forgive, always return, you become replaceable. The emotionally dangerous do not plead for love or fairness. They show their value through withdrawal. And when they return, if ever, they do so on their own terms, rarely, briefly, and powerfully. That is how you become unforgettable, not by being always present, but by mastering the rhythm of scarcity. 5. Speak less, watch more. Words reveal, silence conceals. Most people talk to soothe their anxiety, to fill the space, to be liked. But the emotionally dangerous don't need to be heard. They observe, they listen, they study, and when they do speak, every word lands like a blade. Machiavelli would advise, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. And often, it is the silent one who is feared. Emotional power comes from information, knowing more about others than they know about you. Every word you speak is a map to your mind. So, speak less. Watch their tone, their eyes, their reactions. People expose themselves with every sentence. Meanwhile, you remain a mystery, unreadable, quietly calculating. The one who watches holds more power than the one who performs. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. The quietest one in the room often controls it.
6. Become immune to emotional blackmail. Guilt, obligation, shame. These are the weapons of emotional blackmail, and the emotionally dangerous are immune to all of them. You will encounter people who try to control you not through power, but through pity. After all I've done for you, you owe me. If you really loved me. These are traps, psychological chains disguised as love. But Machiavelli teaches us, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. You owe no one your peace. You owe no one endless forgiveness. Emotionally dangerous people do not explain why they leave, why they change, why they say no. They understand this truth. Boundaries are only real if you are willing to enforce them, even when it hurts others, especially then. And when someone tries to guilt you into compliance, you meet them not with anger, but indifference. You walk away, not out of cruelty, but out of discipline. Let their tantrum echo in your silence. Let your absence teach them what your words cannot. 7. Train yourself to withstand loneliness. The emotionally dangerous are not afraid of solitude. In fact, they welcome it. Why? Because the one who can sit alone without craving validation, distraction, or attention cannot be controlled. Loneliness is often used as a weapon. People fear being left out, ignored, unloved. So they compromise, they tolerate disrespect, they chase what abandons them. But Machiavelli would warn, men ought either to be well treated or crushed. And to endure the psychological injury of isolation is to make yourself uncrushable. Solitude is your forge. It's where you develop the spine to say no, to walk away, to wait, to focus, to rebuild. The emotionally dangerous do not use others to escape themselves. They face their shadows. They sit with their hunger. And from that silence, they emerge more dangerous than before. Learn to enjoy your own company, because when you no longer fear being alone, you'll never again beg to belong.
8. Detach from outcomes, but never from power. The final law of emotional danger is this: let go of results, but never let go of control. Most people are slaves to outcomes. If they succeed, they feel worthy. If they fail, they collapse. If they're loved, they glow. If rejected, they spiral. This makes them emotionally weak, easy to manipulate, quick to despair. But Machiavelli teaches us something more subtle. The ends justify the means, but only for those who can endure uncertainty and navigate chaos. The emotionally dangerous pursue goals, but are never owned by them. They play the long game. If a relationship fails, they do not beg, they re-strategize. If a business collapses, they do not despair, they rebuild smarter. Detachment from outcomes does not mean apathy. It means flexibility. It means never tying your identity to what happens. It means tying it only to how you respond. When you detach from outcomes, you cannot be destroyed, because success or failure, win or lose, you remain in power, not over the world, but over yourself. To become emotionally dangerous is not to become evil. It is to become sovereign, untouchable. It means no one can manipulate you with fear, with love, or with loss. The world is full of manipulators, some charming, some crying, some ruthless. If you are emotionally weak, you will bend, you will break. But if you develop distance, strategy, silence, and self-respect, then no one will ever own you. You will be the storm others fear, the silence they cannot read, the one who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't crack. Remember Machiavelli's deepest insight. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. And the first command you must learn is over yourself. If this message woke something up in you, share it, subscribe, apply it. And remember, emotional strength isn't loud. It isn't cruel. It is cold, calm, calculated. Be the one they cannot shake. Be emotionally dangerous.